Well, this week on the Appalachian Trail update, we answer the question, can you bring a dog into the Smokies? Can you bring a dog into the Baxter State Park? We got some more bear sightings out there and some continued bear sightings going on out there. And we got lots of hikers that are reporting in what's going on with their thru hike. So let's go ahead and jump right in. So we got Chuck and Bluegrass. They have made it over Mount Moosilauke. Probably mispronounced that. If I did, give me the right pronunciation. But spell it to me phonetically, live it to me phonetically, because I won't ever get it right. But they're over Mount Moosilauke, Kinsman's Mountain, and Wolf Mountain's in the whites this week. So they did take a 0 around the Notch Hostel. They said it's been raining for 4 days straight. I'm sure everything is sopping wet that they got. But they are getting all the mud in New Hampshire that they missed out in Vermont, aka Vermud. So sorry guys, that's the way it goes sometimes, but they did say Moosilauke was absolutely spectacular and everything else has been totally socked in other than that. Phoenix finally saw a mama bear and 2 cubs, so that is pretty awesome.
Phoenix finally saw her bear.
She has been waiting to see a bear since Springer, so right now they are past Massachusetts, past the Cookie Ladies, and into Vermud. So she's been waiting a long time to see a bear. So fortunately she got to see that. Of course, Phoenix is hiking with First Season and Caboose. And like I said, they did make it into Vermud, and the mud hit them as soon as they got there to the border. So I did tell them to be careful about the bog boards going through there. So they are slick and loose. So the bog boards are these boards that they put up elevated supposedly above the mud, although the way things are now, the bog boards really are, when Come Along and I did Vermud, we stayed off of the bog boards where we could because they are slick, and for whatever reason up north they do not believe in hardware cloth that you staple to it that gives it, keeps it from being so slick. Either that or expanded metal, so they don't believe in that up there. So the bog boards are slick. They're old, so they get algae growing on them and moss growing on them, and so to be perfectly honest with you, they are very dangerous. And a lot of times they're loose, so if you're walking with somebody, when they step off of the board or on the edge of the board in front of you and you're not on the same board, it'll pop up the board behind them, and the one you're getting ready to step on, and your foot will get tripped up by it, and next thing you know, it's tea kettle over keister into the mud. So we tend to stay away from those bog boards. So if you're anywhere around those bog boards, particularly up there north, be careful around those things. They can be dangerous. Chase and Buzz, they are meeting lots of Sobo thru hikers. They started, that the thru hikers that they're meeting are Sobo, and they started in early June from Katahdin. They've made it all the way to New Hampshire, and they should be in the whites in a few days, and they sent in this update.
Hey Ramdino, this is Chase, hiking with Buzz, supported by Vanish, atop Moose Mountain in New Hampshire. So we crossed over from Vermont and New Hampshire, across the Connecticut River. I just want to report that temps are great. It's been almost sometimes a little bit too cold in the mornings, but perfect for hiking, staying in the 70s. And yeah, it looks like we have quite a bit of water wherever I would expect it. So from the recent rain, so that's all good. Everything's going quite well up here. Looking forward to hitting the whites soon.
Wow, it's gotten too cold, he says, or that's crazy. Us down here, down south, we are roasting. Even up north, they've been roasting. So I don't know if he got hit in the head or it's really cold up there, but I'll take his word for it that he is. But right now, I would take some cold weather to be sleeping in if I was outdoors. Sweet Potato, she brings us some more stellar information. She's almost done with Maine, and so take it away, Sweet Potato.
I know it's not time for an update, but lots of downed trees here in this section in Maine. And not only downed trees, but you got a lot of bogs, and the bog boards are broken or missing or submerged, or yeah, and a lot of washed out trail. So this section is in the southern part. I would say 40 miles from the southern border of Maine.
We got a new hiker here, and that is KO, and he started on March 13th at the Amicalola Falls State Park on the approach trail, and he is currently hiking with Jakes and Beatbox, and they have passed over the 1900 mile mark. Some interesting story about him since he's new. So his stepfather and his mother had planned to hike the trail when they were retired, but his stepfather developed early onset Alzheimer's. So Alzheimer's, as you know, is a terrible disease, and particularly early onset is, and he actually passed away November 23rd at the age of 60. So I'll be 60 October 22nd. So that is that's really terrible. KO's out there hiking for him, and he's actually hiking with him. So he was cremated, and he's taken some of his ashes with him as they go. KO is out there raising awareness for this awful disease and plans to walk in the Walk to End Alzheimer's, which is an event that this organization has, and he'll be doing that in October. And KO is also on our support list, so go and check him out. Go to his channel and give him a attaboy all the way throughout the course, as he is closing in on finishing up his hike in the next month or so. Tick Maggot, he is doing much better health-wise. So sent us an update last week, and he was from the Blackbird Trail Center and trying to make Harper's Ferry. He was going to decide then whether or not he was going to be getting off or what he was going to do.
Hey, Ramdino. So this is my weekly report from Tick Magnet. I'm at Caledonia State Park here at 1086. My health is a lot better this week, and thanks to Iceman here, who came up to help me. He's been driving for us the last couple days, so that's been good. And Stitch is there too, and we've been hiking together and driving for each other too. So it's been a good week. Hopefully we'll get another 100 miles this upcoming week.
And right now he's hiking with Stitch for the past couple days, and Trail Angel Iceman reached out to him, or reached out to me, and said that he wanted to connect with Tick Magnet and help him stay on trail. And so I put those two together, and that's what happened. And so that has been a major driver, I believe, behind getting him over the hump with this bad health, whatever it was that he had. He'd been tested for Giardia and all that, didn't have it. It was just, at this point in his hike, he's probably getting run down just from all the yicky food he's been eating and the calorie deficit that he's had. And so his body's just getting run down. And so Iceman's been helping him, meeting him at trailheads, getting him the water that he needs, probably doing some slack packing and everything. But that is awesome, you know, for people to come together through this channel. It's not about me, it's about you folks, because you folks make up this channel. I'm just here as the figurehead, but it's really neat to see that going on, and to see that connection being made. So thank you guys out there for doing that. Iceman, I believe, is on our Trail Angel list. We'll talk a little bit more about the Trail Angel list here in just a minute. But that's awesome. Glad Tick Maggot has got his second win and is staying out there. Blue and Drifter, they are in New Hampshire. They're at the Kinsman Notch. They'll be taking a zero around the Notch Hostel. They say they've ran into about 10 southbound through hikers in the last couple days, and they say the faster northbounders now are catching up to them. They say there's been a lot of rain, and they've had some abnormally hot temperatures. They said that Vermont did live up to its nickname of Vermud, and they are glad to be past that state by now. Mad Hermit, he has made it into Vermont, and he sends in this video update.
Hey Ramdino, it's Mad Hermit coming to you from the middle of the Vermont woods. So yesterday we went up and over Mount Stratton and stayed at Stratton Pond Shelter. There were multiple teams of day and section hikers out, many more than I saw of through hikers. The mud in Vermont so far has been extremely reduced from previous trips through here that I took on section hikes a couple years ago. The mud isn't nearly as soupy. You can walk over the top of a lot of it, and except for the really low spots, you know, where there's bogs and beaver ponds and stuff like that. it's all pretty manageable. I've been having dry feet now for 2 days, so good news, good time to be going through Vermont. Well, hey, thanks again for all you do, Ramdino, and we'll talk to you soon.
So that Stratton Pond there is one of the prettiest ponds that you will visit along the trip and along your hike. It's really a great place to see a sunset because it's during this time of year, it's facing like due west in there. And it's also the water source. But I stopped there when I did that part of Vermont a couple years ago. Just really gorgeous. The trail would go right down there past the Stratton Pond. Hey Daisy. And now it does not go down there past Stratton Pond. They relocated it up further north. The area around the pond, the trail was trying to get kind of getting beat up, and so they're trying to get the pond back to where it used to be, and so they have moved the trail, you know, on the higher elevation than the pond there, and so that way that hopefully the pond will have a chance to recover. But gorgeous, gorgeous place there. Hope that you got to enjoy just a little piece of that, Mad Hermit. And then Subbo's Polar Bear and Spamalot, they are entering Vermont tomorrow. So congratulations on them. And then Wiggins, Slugger, and Savior, they are in New York. And they had a thru hiker that has been from 2019 that's been helping them. And also gave us the information on Polar Bear and Spamalot, and that was Super Squirrel. So Super Squirrel, she was somebody that updated me in 2019, believe it or not. Yep, I've been doing it that long. And she went and picked them up and drove them to her house for some pool time and some laundry. Sure, they got some good food there. And then she took them back to the trailhead there at the Warwick Drive-In. So not only did they get all of that off trail and a chance just to relax in the AC, but they got to have dinner and a movie. So that is pretty awesome. So appreciate you doing that, Super Squirrel, and being an awesome trail angel up there. And then Payday, he indicated he didn't send in a video. He's been real good about sending in videos, but he said he's been distracted out there on the trail. So I know how that is. And when you get this far north, we start losing folks that normally report in, and that's just because, you know, they get, not only they get distracted, but it kind of gets to be a little on the mundane side. Sometimes people can, you know, it actually turns into a job more than anything because, you know, you get up in the morning, you break camp, you eat breakfast, you start hiking, you eat lunch, you stop and get water somewhere, you get to camp, you set up camp, get you some supper, and you go to bed. And you're just so wiped out by the time you get there that you just don't think about updating folks, and that's perfectly okay. We appreciate the updates he's done so far. Sure, he's going to give us a few more out there, but he did say his last day is in Vermont, and he's pushing into Hanover, New Hampshire today, and he is ready to go for the whites. He did say the weather has gotten a whole lot better up there for him, so that's awesome. Appreciate you sending that in, Payday. So some much we got Master Splinter and Leo. So Leo, of course, is the doodle that looks a lot like the doodle you just saw right here, Daisy, but Leo is a service dog for Master Splinter, and Leo has been able to hike everywhere with him. So Leo was also accepted in the Smokies, and obviously she was accepted there, or he, I guess, was accepted in the Baxter State Park. They summited, and they were hiker numbers 124. And they started down at Springer on February 21st. I asked them a few questions about Leo. Had the opportunity to hike with Master Splinter and Leo on the Foothills Trail during the end of days hike that I do every year. That was the third annual that we did last year. And by the way, plug for that right quick. Looking forward to that again this year. That will be the week after Christmas down the Foothills Trail down in South and North Carolina. So that is a great opportunity for the class of 2025 or anybody in general, but to come out and check out your gear, hike. It's about a 72-mile through hike. So I do that every year for folks out there. Fresh Ground's typically there and plans to be there this year again to support us. So it's a good time for folks to come out and particularly those that are planning a thru hike, and pick the brains of the other thru hikers that are there. And there's usually other thru hikers that are there. So it grows every year. Last year, I think we had about 30 or 40 folks that are out there. So it was a really good time. We had a good time. And Master Splinter and Leo, they were there. So Leo is a service dog. So service dogs, while they may be technically a pet to the person that is, you know, their father, whatever, owner, however you want to say that, but they are also not considered pets by the national parks system. So they are considered service dogs. So Leo is certified through the United States Service Dog Registry. And when you go into a national park, and of course Baxter's not a national park, it's a state park, but service dogs are treated with the American with Disabilities Act, and so they cannot ask you for their papers. Now Leo carries certification tags on her, and as I said, she is certified through the agency, or the National Association, but they can't ask you for your credentials for that dog. They can only ask you if it is a service dog. It's 2 questions. If it is a service dog, and what the disability or what the service dog has done. So service dogs are different than emotional support dogs or comfort dogs. So those dogs are not considered service dogs to the national park, and I guess state parks as well. They are, and under the ADA system, they are just considered comfort dogs, so to speak. So parks don't have to allow those types of dogs in there. They only have to allow service dogs, and those service dogs can go anywhere that the person who they are servicing can go. National Park Service defines a service dog as a dog that has been individually trained to do work or perform tasks for the benefit of an individual with a disability, including a physical, sensory, psychiatric, intellectual, or other mental disability, and the task performed by the animal must be directly related to the person's disability, and that dog has to be trained for that disability. So it's not just a comfort dog or emotional dog that you can bring with you that doesn't have any type of formal training like that. So hopefully that explains a little bit to you about why service dogs are allowed in the national park system and state parks like Baxter, like that. But I think that's great, and it was really neat to see those two get to finish together up there on the sign at Baxter Peak there on Katahdin. So some news we got up here. I mentioned before the Trail Angel list. So if you are a Trail Angel, to begin with, I have a Trail Angel list, and that Trail Angel list is available to any thru hiker that I can verify, and I verify them typically. They're either on my support list, or they will send me their certification from the ATC showing me where they registered with the ATC. So not everybody registered with the ATC. They can register with me, and I will vet them out through their either other individuals that may know them or through their YouTube. But got to have some means of vetting those out, because I don't just give that Trail Angel list out willy-nilly. So the Trail Angel list is Trail Angels that have contacted me and said, hey, I want to help hikers out there on the trail. If they're in a bad situation where they need to get off trail, or they need a resupply and they can't get a hold of a shuttle or somebody else out there who's paid to do that, then I want to help that person out. And so Trail Angels typically do it for nothing. Now, if I have a Trail Angel come out and help me, I always offer them something for their gas or something for their trouble. Typically Trail Angels don't take that, and that's fine, but I always make that offer anyway, because I greatly appreciate what they do, but they are typically solely volunteer. So if you can find a way to get off the trail, and there's plenty of folks, shuttle services out there in a lot of areas on the trail. If you can find that, I encourage you to do that, because these people a lot of them make this is a side gig for them. Some of them are retired, and this is additional income through their retirement, but they all care about hikers out there on the trail. So if you can find somebody that does that and is a paid service, recommend you do that. But there's some places either you can't find anybody that does that, or they're not available. And so that's what the Trail Angel list is for. And so if you want to be on that Trail Angel list, no matter where you are up and down the Appalachian Trail, and I'm looking for folks right now up in the northern parts of the trail, the New England states, because I don't have a lot of folks up there, then please contact me. Those links down below, the DMs and my email are all down below. Contact me through that and give me your the area that you service, you know, from no-mow mile this to no-mow mile that, or states or trailheads that you service, your contact information, how you want to be contacted, of course your name, and I'll be glad to put you on the Trail Angel list. Also, if you're a Trail Angel and you've been on that list in the past and you no longer wish to be on that list, then that list is contact me and I will send you that list, and then that way you can look at it and let me know if you want to be on there. Most people know if they're on the list or not. But I am looking for more out there, so appreciate you all, Trail Angels. Continue to get pictures in from the network of folks that are looking for Sadie. So Sadie's a lost hiker dog that belongs to Bright Eyes, and we have been looking since March for Sadie, and we continue to look for it. Every week we get in pictures of a dog that very, very closely resembles Sadie, and so Sadie could be anywhere in the country, particularly, you know, in close aspect to the trail somewhere. So we are looking for her up and down the trail. People keep sending in pictures. Thank you so much for you folks that do that. You either send them to me or you send them to the Facebook page, looking for, you know, searching for Sadie Facebook page. That link's down below. And there's people that are monitoring that know what to look for on Sadie, including Sadie's mother, Bright Eyes. So she's monitoring that and typically responds to every picture that is sent in. And you'll be amazed how many dogs look a lot like Sadie, with that gray muzzle and white on them somewhere. Sadie has a tumor on her back left hind leg, the lower portion of her leg, so that's a dead giveaway. She's also got a chip. But continue to send those in. Those keep hope alive for us. Bright Eyes is Canadian, so she can't be here right now, but my understanding is in the next week or so she is coming down and continue the ground search. But we've had a lot of good people send in stuff, so a lot of good leads that have not panned out yet, but we only need one lead to pan out to find Sadie. So thanks a lot. Please keep doing that out there. And then our trail correspondent, who's our Trail Angel correspondent, Spineless Cougar, he has a place that he does trail magic up in Vermont, and he sends in a report each week. He says that he's getting reports that the shelters are full of hikers, and nearby tent spaces are also getting very crowded. So you get up into Vermont, there's a lot of rocks and stuff up there, and a lot of the shelters don't have good area to put up a tent. And there's, you know, there's the shelter, a few tent sites, and then it's either rocky or brush everywhere. So those are tough spots up there. He did say the black flies are finally gone and the bugs are starting to behave a little better. He always sends in data on pack weights and when people started as they're coming through there. So this week, the data he had for this week, the average pack weight was 25.9 pounds. The median pack weight was 27.15, and the median's really better than the average, because with the average, we had to average a couple low weights in there that were 13-pound weights. I think we even had one that was like 9 pounds. So that really skews where and pulls down the overall average, whereas the median pack weight is right in the middle of everybody that was sampled. So that was 27.15 pounds is what that was. The earliest hiker tag we had was hiker tag number 1,543, and they left March 23rd. None of the folks that had come through there had noro, and then we had a minimum pack weight of 13 pounds and a maximum pack weight of 35.3 pounds. So you just wonder, what is it that somebody had in their 35.3 versus the 13? Of course, 13 could be somebody who's, you know, coming off trail where he's at to resupply, and so they're completely done with the food bag, didn't have any water. But still, you just wonder what's the difference in their weight that they would have a third of what somebody else had. And then also this trip, 40% of the AT hikers on there were Sobo hikers coming through. So he's starting to get a lot more Sobo coming through. And then Waldo is a viewer who was section hiking, and he had a bear encounter in the Virginia section there around the Lambert Meadows shelter. He said the bear came in a few times at night. He did say there was water at the camp shelter, below the shelter, but there was no water from there till Danville. So that section of Virginia is a very dry section through the Pearisburg area. All that can be very dry, really starting there from after Mount Rogers and around the Birch Garden area. I can't remember the name of that shelter now. That's a fully enclosed shelter that's at the top of Birch Garden. Somebody else knows out there, leave that comment down below. But from there through Pearisburg and on into Danville and getting on up into the on well north of there can be a very dry section up there. And then also bear reports. The ATC continues to get bear reports from the George Outer Bridge shelter there, which is Novo Mile 1260, and that bear is food conditioned, so it doesn't readily leave when there's food in the area, and so that can be a problem for hikers getting in there. So keep that in mind as you're going through there. Make sure you're using either bear cables or bear box if they've got one, or hanging your bear bag through that area. And then the Woods Hole weekend is coming up, so that is September 20th through the 22nd. This is a weekend that is geared toward through hikers that are coming through for the 2025 season. So if you're a through hiker that is doing 2025, then this is for you. This is time for you to go and learn from other through hikers, learn from folks that are extensive section hikers out there. All the instructors are volunteers. It'll be a whole weekend. It's going to be a very immersive weekend. It's going to teach you everything you need to know pretty much, other than actually experience it, of what's going on with the through hike. And you'll actually get to experience an overnight hike as well. So get a chance to check out some gear. And all the instructors are volunteers, so they're not paid. There is a small fee to pay for food and boarding up there at the Woods Hole. And so Woods Hole is a icon of the trail. It's a really neat place up there in Virginia. And so there's a link down below. You can go to the Woods Hole website there and also find that, but I'll leave that link down below for the Woods Hole weekend. I'll be there and I'll be an instructor. Have no idea why they want me to be an instructor up there, other than I suppose my 4 years of exposure to thousands of through hikers and just being around those people and everything, and my section hike, doing about 2/3 of the trail. Maybe that qualifies me to be an instructor up there, but I'll be there as well as a lot more qualified people than I am, so looking forward to being there and doing that. If you're a 2025 through hiker, also don't forget about my hiker support list. So the link to put yourself on that is down below. We've already had about 14 people sign up for that. So the hiker support list is a place where hikers can go and put their social media accounts, and then that way people can follow you along your track and give you a attaboy or attagirl or attaway all the way out throughout the course of your hike. And of course, we still got 2024 folks are out there. That link's down below as well, and I encourage you to go and give them a shout out and just keep them pumped up all the way as they finish. And we've got Sobo hikers on there, flip-flopper hikers as well as on there, so go and check that out. So all those links are down below. And then I'll be doing a I'll be doing a lash coming up in Pennsylvania in just a few weeks. That's going to be the weekend of the 10th and 11th when I'll be starting doing about 100 miles going up through Dalton. So I'm pumped up about that. That is going to be a really neat trip. And so hopefully there won't be any heat out there like I just experienced on my hike coming up through the Three Ridges area. You can go here and check out that hike through the Three Ridges area and see what I went through that, see how I handled that. Hopefully I won't have that problem going up through Pennsylvania. Folks, that's all I got this week. As always, appreciate you, and we'll see you out here. Ain't that right, Daisy? We're going to see them out here. Yeah, girl. Yeah.